Sam Spooner joins us in the studio now for a look at the hockey. Sam, some big scores today in the opening day of the men's and women's leagues.
Yeah, some slightly smaller scores as well that may have surprised one or two, but yeah, some massive scores for Vikings A and Castletown A in the Premier League and Division 1 today.
In the men's, so we'll go to the men's Premier League first, and it was Backas B 1, Vikings A 11, 5-1 at half time.
Yeah, Vikings A wanted to go out and make a statement today. They wanted to go out and make the statement they wanted to make was try and get some good goals and the goal scored in the table, and it's actually put them top of the league for the week. Tom Wilson with a hat-trick and named man of the match today. Steve Crowe with 2. Stephen Underwood with 2, Al Birch, Tim Henderson, Archie Cayley on his debut for the men's first team, and Danny Hamill all with 1, and Tony Bentley-Roberts with the consolation goal for Backas B.
Next up, Ramsey A 5, Valkyries A 4. Tight contest by the sounds of it.
It looks like it. I had this down as my game of the day for the men's leagues, and it certainly looks like it's delivered mightily close. This game has probably put Ramsey A. This was their sort of the glass ceiling that they had to try and break through, and they've done that now. 5-4 winners: Alex Neil with 1, Jan Kane and Billy Kane with 1, Nat Smith with 2 for Ramsey A, Valkyries A, Tim Stevenson with 2, and Ollie Webster with 2.
And the final game featuring the defending champions Backas A. Would that be fair? Won 4-0 against Vikings B. Would you have expected more there?
I played in this game and I expected it to be a high-scoring game for Backas B, it has to be said. Given that the school holidays are still there, I think some of the second teams are struggling a little with some of the especially school teachers that play, and some of the kids haven't returned back from holidays or skiing holidays, etc. yet. So I think there's a little bit of struggle in there. But that's to be said, Vikings B defended really well. Big shout out to Kyle Watson. He's 13 or 14 years old, and he stepped into this to play centre back against Backas A and performed brilliantly. I was really impressed. And when Vikings B went 2 players down with 2 green cards at the same time late in the second half, Backas A couldn't find a breakthrough. They seemed a little bit weak on their short corners today, Backas A, but they deservedly ran out winners. They were by far and away the better team, and in the second half they altered their tactics a little. The first half score was 1-0 to Backas. Backas goal scorers in the end were Andy Whiting with 2, Jamie Brown with 1, and Josh Reardon with 1.
We got a text in to say that you had a good game in goal for Vikings B as well, Sam, so I think we need to mention that as well. Man of the match apparently today.
Thanks
so
very
there
much.
you go, keeping the score down. PWC Men's Division 1, let's just go through the scores and scorers here. Backas Colts 0, Castletown A 12.
Yeah, this is a huge statement of intent from Castletown A. They really want to go out and win this league and return to the Premier League, and I didn't expect it to be such a high scoring game. Backas Colts have got some really good experienced players like Andy Neal. They had some great youngsters as well coming through, but Castletown A really too hot for them today. Robin Masson, despite his head being mistaken for a ball at one point, scored 3. Christian Stereopoulos with a 3 as well. Rich Tarr with 2, Danny Kniveden with 2, and Steve Ronan and Don Stewart finishing the scoring off with 1 each.
Harlequins A 0, Saracens A 4.
Yeah, Saracens A, again, they've come out with a real statement of intent here. I expected Harlequins A to probably challenge Castletown A and Saracens A for the title, but to lose 4-0 to Saracens A is probably a little setback early doors in the season. Stephen Cottier with a hat-trick for Saracens, and Tom Dalton-Brown rounding off the scoring.
And Vikings C 7, Valkyries B 0.
Yeah, that's, again, Vikings C making a statement of intent early doors. I mean, I'm looking at the goal scorers here, and the experience is huge. And Ash Dougal on his return from his ban has scored a hat-trick today for Vikings C. Andy Harding scored 2, Nathan Evans scored 1, and Ash Osborne scored 1. Big shout out from Valkyries B to Alex Freer and Jack Whiteleg. They stepped up from the under-16s team today, and being told they both had very impressive games, so well done.
I'll just mention the scores in Men's Division 2, or the score that we've got anyway. Castletown B 4, Saracens B 1. Nothing for Ramsey B against Backas C yet. Moving into the Women's Premier League, and Vikings, as we were talking about at lunchtime, Sam, they've been the dominant team in women's hockey for a long time now, a decade or so. 100 odd games won in a row, 115 won in a row, is it? Something like that. They won 4-0 today against Valkyries A to start off yet another Premier League defence, and Kim Carney on the score sheet, as you would expect.
Yeah, Kim Carney got 2 today. I expected this to go Vikings A's way. I expected probably a little bit more of a challenge from Valkyries A, but I think they were a couple of players short. Mia Greenwood also got on the score sheet, and Kirsty Cooper for Vikings A, but early statement made there by Vikings A.
Harlequins A 2, Castletown A 5.
Yeah, I picked this out as my game of the day for the ladies' leagues, and it really is it's almost a relegation decider early doors. First game of the season. Castletown A, you can see by the people who scored for them, Hannah Leese, Ireland player, scoring 2 there for them. Danny Kelly scoring 2, and Lois Hatton's on the score sheet there as well. Harlequins A fought back with 2 goals from Anna Hall.
And finally, in the Premier League, Backas A1, Ramsey A1. We've had a scorer through for Ramsey A as well, which I don't think we had before, did we?
Yeah, I've got that noted down now.
Joe Quine.
Yeah, Joe Quine scored for Ramsey A, and Backas A, Sophie Hudson. Both teams will be slightly disappointed with this because they always seem to trip over each other each season, and it stops them from trying to catch Vikings A. So if they want to try and catch Vikings A, they really need to break out these wins against each other.
Division 1, Backas B. Apologies, we had that down as Backas Colts. Backas B 7, Ramsey B 1.
Yeah, Ramsey, I'm a little bit surprised by this result, although I have to say, Backas B are in an incredibly strong side this year. Jess Humphreys with 1, Ros Lynch and Sinead Cox with 2 each, Sharon Pope and Marla Stewart with 1, and I haven't had Ramsey B's goal scorer.
But you said there were names in that team today that wouldn't have looked out of place in the first team.
That's probably some of the strongest, the largest strength and depth I've seen from an A team to B team. It is incredibly strong.
Up next, Saracens A 0, Vikings B 4.
It started off a little bit scruffy this game. I was down there watching the first half. But they went in at half-time 1-0 up Vikings B. Jan Carney with a goal, and from what I hear, it just came out of absolutely nothing. There was no right to score from where they scored from, but it was a well-taken finish. Jan Carney ended up with a hat-trick, and Kirsty McCarry got on the score sheet as well.
Valkyries B 4, Harlequins B 0.
Yeah, a really good result for Valkyries B here. Harlequins B are always on the back foot in this game, I think. Emma Miller with 2, Chloe Shimon and Flo Barber on the score sheet with 1 each as well.
And Valkyries C 1, Castletown B 0.
Yeah, from what I hear, this was a really close game, and Castletown B really fought back in the second half. They just couldn't quite find that breakthrough. On paper, the goal has gone down to Carol Whiteleg. However, from what I've heard, it could have either been Carol Whiteleg or Ruth Nathan. They seem to hit the ball at the same time, but Carol Whiteleg's got the goal on paper.
There'll be some debate about that one, no doubt. Right, Sam, we've also got 4 hockey cup draws to do, I believe.
Yep.
So we'd best crack on with those as well. What are we drawing first?
We're starting with the men's cup, so there's 7 numbers in the hat.
Okay. And first out is number 4.
That is Ramsey A.
Against number 2.
That is Backas B.
Number 1.
Is Backas A.
They will play number 5.
And that is Valkyries A.
Number 7.
Is Harlequins A.
Against number 6.
Is Vikings A.
So that leaves number 3.
Yep, that's Castletown A having a bye into the next round.
Okay. Do you want to just go through those again quickly, Sam?
Yep, that is Ramsey A versus Backas B. Backas A versus Valkyries A. Harlequins A versus Vikings A. And Castletown A have a bye into the next round.
Okay. Next up.
Men's plate.
Men's plate. 7 teams again?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. Number 5.
Is Saracens A.
Against number 4.
Ramsey B.
Number 1.
Is Backas C.
We'll play number 7.
Vikings C.
And number 2.
Is Castletown B.
Against number 6.
Is Valkyries B.
Funnily enough, leaving number 3 again.
As a bye.
As a bye, okay.
You'll need number 8 for this next one.
Number 8 for the next one, okay. And this is?
This is the Ladies' Cup.
Ladies' Cup, okay. Let's just have a quick look at these as well. Okay, right, so we've got some more scores in there. Thank you very much for those. Right, 8 teams to draw this time. We start with number 6.
And that is Valkyries A.
Valkyries A. Number 7.
Against Vikings A. Meaty game there again. Repeated the opening fixture.
Opening fixture, yeah. Number 3.
Is Castletown A.
Number 2.
Is Backas Colts.
Number 1.
Is Backas A.
Okay. and they will play number 4.
Is Harlequins A.
That leaves number 5
Ramsey A.
against number 8.
Vikings B.
Just want to repeat those again,
Yep.
please, for us, Sam.
That is Valkyries A versus Vikings A. Castletown A versus Backas Colts. Backas A versus Harlequins. And Ramsey A versus Vikings B.
Okay, and before we go to the final draw, James Russell, apologies. He says, I score for the first time in years, and you don't even mention it. Beautiful it was. Apologies, James. We were a bit pressed for time, but there you go. We have mentioned you now. You've got your 15 seconds of fame.
It was a contentious penalty flick, I have to say.
A contentious penalty
There's
flick.
talk about whether it was a slap or a flick, but
Oh,
we'll
dear.
leave that one to Facebook.
We'll leave that one to Facebook, indeed. Moving on swiftly.
6
Six
number,
for this
6-1.
one. Okay, right. Let's just make sure that we've got 7 and 8 out of here then. High tech, this, ladies and gentlemen. High tech indeed. Tony Mepham's big red ball bag is getting some use this evening. Right, okay. Number 6
Is Valkyries C.
against number 1.
Is Castletown B.
Number 3.
Is Ramsey B.
Number 4,
Versus Saracens.
which leaves number 5.
Valkyries B with a bye.
Number 2.
And Harlequins B with a bye.
Okay. Just casting your eye over those 4 draws, Sam. What jumps out at you there?
I think Valkyries A are going to be looking for a bit of revenge on Vikings A in the Ladies' Cup there. Whether they can achieve it, I don't know. But if they've got a full squad, they came close last year to knocking them off the perch. But I think the biggest one for me, Backas A, Valkyries A. That's going to be a big grudge match. It's always a fantastic game to watch when they meet each other.
Just got another result through here as well. Ramsey B against Backas C. That's one we were waiting for,
Yep.
wasn't it? Ramsey B 9, Backas C 0. Ramsey scorers, let's see, Patrick Cooper Woods with 3. Dan Stevenson with 2. And then single goals for Barry Meller, Daniel Hurd, James Aitchison, and Ben Curtis.
Brilliant.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
job box.